Greetings and salutations. You're now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time we call the Master Blaster Jamming. I am the host of the Underground News Network, your brother the Rastafari, Aital Ayman I. Many have made it known to me that they have been told or believe that the calendar we follow is not synchronized with Maya's, which says calendar runs out at 2012. So they believe we have more time and that my mission is not as urgent as I make it seem. The year 2012 is a year calculated to coincide to our calendar, I say. The 260-day count of Zolkin, the short count or 13 groups of 20 days, could be symbolic of the 9th month of birthing, the female birthing period. One thing we must note is that in the year 1331 BC, the calendar was started. This was the time Venus tilted on its axis. We must ask, why did our forefathers, the Anunnaki, start the calendar when Venus tilted on its axis? It was a time when there was a Venus-Sun transit. We must realize that all events are symbolic. Let us look at year 2004. The beast Ronald Wilson Reagan died. Ronald Wilson Reagan died at 93, June 5, 2004. Note, Reagan was known as a Star Wars president. In that same year, June 8, 2004, there was a transit of Venus and Sun. Also on same date, G8 summit of George Bush and the world powers met at Sea Island, Georgia. My news source, UNN 13, covered that event. Okay, let's realize that Venus-Sun transits happen about every 200 years. So that was the first one in our lifetime. But when they do happen, it's only 8 years to the next one. So the next one is in the year 2012. Note the first one, when it happened, Venus had a pole shift. So we must look for a reversal of Earth's poles in the year 2012. We will find a lot of information by studying the Venus-Sun transit. So I send you to my website to study this subject. Currently the website is being redeveloped. It's all about vibrations and influences. So we must have what I call Maya mind. The calendar is functional. It helps us predict and understand influences affecting our daily lives. There is so much conflict. Scams abound. In a polluted, oil-spilled world, by the time I reached my higher grounds, racism thick as crude, all doors closed to the righteous, rejections deadly like methane, it's hotter than July. Mad dogs stand still, teeth of hate revealed, Jah refugees in the daytime nightmares of reality. There's no room at the end. Like the 3 Hebrew boys, we must return to the fire furnace of time. I've conducted a rather large and significant scientific experiment. The hypothesis for the lack of response of so-called cultural and enlightened beings in times of crisis, even when given a reactionary model, i.e. an example of response, is due to the illusion of our false anchors called securities, such as jobs, food, shelter, which has brought about complacency. This is called the Novocaine effect. Even though one's house is burning down, one's will not run for safety, for one's are not independent to the forces which holds him down. He will not move until told to by the force which holds him captive in his own burning house. This force is the government. Note that in government, the word ment means action. So government means a hidden body which controls the actions of the puppets. The revolutionary will run out of the burning house to try and cause out that others follow, thus breaking the string of control from the hands of ones governing the actions of the puppets. This is attempt to turn around the fate of mannequins, or mankind, so to speak, i.e. poetically speaking. So it is known 2 years before 2012 as the Deepwater Horizon event in the Gulf oil spill is a catalyst, not for social unrest, but for a shift in consciousness, bringing about reformation, which is needed in the so-called movements such as Rastafari, Nation of Islam, etc. The young religions of America, designed originally for the revolution, i.e. social change. We must now resort to the Rastafari theorem put forth in the teachings of Ayatollah Ayman called the Master Blaster Jamming. Without implementing this formula, all will perish in a already now burning house called the Armageddon of Babylon. We must now break down the walls of illusions that we explore the practicality of the implementation of this new information, the Rastafari theorem. So, to the lack of support, I will be headed back to Florida to regroup in a few days. Open your minds, for the law is complete. It has been received, and you are now in tune. On the one, the force itself at this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. I am your brother with love, broadcasting live from the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado. Peace.